Hey there and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a garden tour. I have not done a garden tour in a couple weeks because we were actually out of town at my parents' beach house, so we missed a couple of weeks for a garden tour. But a lot has changed. We are actually like harvesting things out of the garden and eating quite a bit of it for lunch and dinner. So really exciting stuff happening. Before we go into the garden though, I want to show you a shot of our hydrangeas. Oh my goodness, they exploded while we were gone. Check this out. We have hydrangeas that line the front of our property all the way down there. And they are beautiful. There's tons of different colors. There's dark blues, light blues, and then there's purples. And check this out. They couldn't be more perfect. So pretty. And we just have lots and lots and lots. And while we're over here, I'll show you the pear tree. This one here has the most fruit on it. And they are getting to be a pretty good size. Check that out. That's a good pear. There's so many. There's probably 100, if not more, on this little tree. So that's super exciting. They all look healthy too, so that's good. Our apple tree, on the other hand, not doing so hot. Okay, heading back to the garden. A lot of new exciting things have happened, and we harvested a bunch of the cherries before we left. I harvested the rest that we're going to harvest today, and I actually pitted them and froze them, so they're already taken care of. The tree, I'll show you, there's still fruit on it. However, they've been like they're moldy or they have fruit flies. Yeah, so next year we will probably be looking into like some sort of cherry fly traps or something. I don't know. I did like a minute of research today online, and I'm thinking that that will be a good idea. We thought these were reindeer cherries. I think they are, but they got very, very sweet sitting on the tree this long. Since we were gone for over a week, I was like, there's not going to be any cherries left. And there were still a ton, since the raccoons didn't actually get up there. And they were juicier and more delicious than the first few baskets we picked. So we got a ton of cherries. We made a cherry cobbler pie when we were in Oregon. Or I think not a cherry cobbler pie. I think it was just like a cherry cobbler, and oh man, it was so good. So I froze a bunch, and we'll be thinking of making like a berry pie. So like cherry, strawberry, blackberry, all from, our property. Okay, coming into the garden. First really exciting thing, check this out. The hollyhocks have opened, at least this stalk here, but man, oh man. And this thing is tall. This has got to be at least, I don't know, 9 feet tall or so. There's so many more flowers that are going to open. I don't know if they'll all be the same color, but these are just so vibrant and beautiful. The beans down here have actually started producing, and I picked a bunch of them the other day. These are, I think, are they red Swiss? I guess I can't remember the name, but they were from Baker Creek. But they're really pretty, and there's lots of them. Like, this is just one little plant here, right here, and look how many beans are on that one little bush plant. So we have those, and then there's a couple green beans that are trellising up here. They just the beans got mixed together, so the kids planted them, and they, are a little random. But look at this crazy vine grabbing over here, and it doesn't know where to go now. It's way up here. Beans are crazy. And then on this side, we have the carrots that we left, and check this out. We let them go to seed, but look at that beautiful flower. There are gonna be so many seeds in there. I've never let a carrot go to seed, but man, they're beautiful. And behind it, there's a bunch of green beans down low. There were a couple of peas here. Those are dying off. So we'll be pulling these out and pulling these out once we harvest those last few that are on there. The lettuce that is outside of this little low tunnel is doing fantastic. We've eaten so much lettuce out of here, and there's a ton more. These cabbages are doing amazing. Like, I think we might have cabbage this year. They're, you know, they're producing, and they're so big and healthy and no bugs. Yay! So in the low tunnel, same thing. Lettuce is doing amazing. It tastes amazing. It's so healthy. It's so good. We had a salad tonight with it. We had a salad last night. We had BLTs the other night with it. Delicious. And then I have some new ones that are planted in there. The kale, we don't really eat the kale, but it's mostly for the bunny and the chickens, and they really like it. So I think that comes in really handy to have a boatload of kale for them. And then these cabbages are doing well. They're not as big as the one outside of the cover, but they're still doing really good. And besides these early little slug bites here, there's no bugs. Then we have our arugula plant that's still doing great, and oh, there's another slug. Look at that. I just picked all the slugs off, and fed them to the chickens, but apparently there's probably more than that. But look how big this head of lettuce is. That's crazy. It's probably going to start to bolt soon. These strawberries back here were here when we moved in, but look at the color of those. These are called a hula strawberry. I believe there was a tag on them. They're very little. They probably need to be in a bigger pot, but they kind of taste like pineapple and strawberry. They're really delicious. So those actually produced. That's exciting. We have a random little blackberry. It's not really a bush, vine, I suppose, that is growing here. It's getting out of control. You can see it's going here. I just thought I would let it go because I could see that there were flowers, and they're actually really big blackberries. This one down here is starting to turn darker. But I thought, oh, well, that's fine. We'll just leave these. We can throw that into our berry pie. There's lots of other blackberries around the property, but this one here I thought would get a lot of sun and maybe be really, really sweet. Down here are the cucumbers. They're slowly making their way. There's several of them, but they're very little. I still don't think it's quite warm enough for them to be enjoying the weather. And that's a spinach plant that went to seed. So I'm just gonna wait for that and collect those seeds. Okay, here is an overview of the big garden. Look how wild it is. It's so crazy. So that is an overview. I'll kind of tell you what we got going on here. This first bed, I have zucchini. These are golden zucchinis, so there's 4 of those. And I planted some random kales back here and arugula. There's a volunteer hollyhock there. There was a row of carrots. You can see them like here, there, kind of random, a random onion that got thrown in there. And yeah, on that bed we have more lettuce that was planted. This is where all the garlic was, so the lettuce was planted in between the garlic, and I just harvested a bunch of that tonight for our salad, and there's still a ton left. And then there's a mini pumpkin right here. I put these in the ground right before we left, and that's the only one that really survived. So we have one mini pumpkin. I don't know if it'll even grow. All right, the onions are, I think I said this last time, but they are like so ready to be harvested. They have fallen over and the tops of them are exposed, but I don't want to pull all of them because I'm afraid that we won't be able to use them and they'll go bad. So I think they're okay staying in the ground. There's some that are still really small, and hopefully those can get a little bit bigger, but you can see here they have really tipped over. See how they're laying on the ground? These things literally just pull right out of the ground. Here, I'll pull this one here just to show you. Look how easy that is. It just comes right out, and there's a beautiful onion. I'll have to show you when we go out the rack that the boys started hanging these on, because sometimes we'll walk through here and if you just bump them, they just fall right out. But look at that perfect little onion. We've been using these here and there, but lots of onions. Potatoes are starting to die back, which is a good sign. That means that they'll be ready to harvest soon. But you can see here they're turning yellow. It does look like they have some bug pest issue. It looks like we have another slug friend right here and here. This is like the best time to come out and get these guys, but see, I just come smash them and or I just gave Carter a bowl and he fed them to the chickens. So like trying to look to see if I have any more, but I don't see any right off the bat. Anyways, those ones are looking more yellow than this end. Look at this sunflower, all these sunflowers. Now I'm wondering, like, why did I plant these here? They're so big you can't even walk through the walkways anymore because I put them here, but they're getting so tall. This cucumber plant, it's not really, it's getting bigger, but it's not really, it's getting bigger, but it's not really growing up. But look what we got. Our very first little cucumber. Did I say zucchini? I meant cucumber. I don't know what I said. Cooper and I tried to pollinate this one today. So we took the male flower with a little Q-tip and pollinated the female flower just with the Q-tip. So we'll see if that does anything. But it's definitely getting bigger. It just needs to like come on up this trellis here. These green beans that I planted, they are doing fine. The slugs are enjoying them. I should probably take a peek before I go inside. But they're getting kind of eaten. All right, check out the corn. It's growing and it's doing so good. It's maybe a little over a foot tall, so that's great. It needs to be weeded really bad. I haven't really had a chance. I've had a lot of things to catch up on since we've been back, but it's doing really good. And the sunflowers, like I said, are huge on the ends. So walking in here, we do have some zucchini plants here and one over there if you can see them in between the weeds. But they're doing so good. So exciting. Now the strawberries are officially done. Like there might be one or two here and there, but we harvested these before we left. I froze a bunch of them, like a ton of them. We had strawberry rhubarb pie. What else? We had strawberry shortcake. We would just eat them all the time. And when we got back, I had uncovered them with the bird netting, thinking, well, we'll just let the birds finish them off, because rather someone eat them than just go to waste. But they didn't really get them. So we picked them when we got back, and they were kind of eaten by slugs, but the ones that weren't, oh man, they were sweeter than any of the other ones, probably because they had just sat on the vine so long, but super ripe, super delicious. The asparagus, there's a bunch here that's gone to seed, which is good, and we still have some sprigs that pop up here and there. There's one here, there's one back there. Nothing, there's one here, nothing that's like a huge harvest, but there are still asparagus that are popping up here and there. All right, this little Zen area, if that's what you want to call it, I kind of put everything over here. These pots were other places, but when we left, the sprinkler would hit these areas, so I wanted to make sure they got watered. But our coral bells, they've actually, you can see, there's little teeny pink buds there. I'm not sure if they're going to get bigger, but we'll see. We have some cosmos in this one. This one is going to go out by the chickens. It's a Cosmo. Whatever this was got eaten. And then we'll have lettuce. That way I can just pull lettuce for them. I might just take this out and put another lettuce in here, because that way there's just more greens out there, and I can, and of course the Cosmos just for, beautifulness. More flowers. And here's the flower garden. It didn't get watered very well when we were gone because the sprinkler doesn't really reach over here, But check out these cosmos. They are so tall. They're over a foot tall and doing really well. We actually have a smaller one back here that is going to have a flower. Can you see it right there? Really soon. So that's exciting. Yeah, that's really all that's flowering. I think things will start soon. You can see these sunflowers are starting to get their little flowers on the top there. The medicinal garden is looking kind of sad, but at the same time it's kind of exciting. It's small, but I think, you know, year after year things will just get bigger. The yarrow opened up and look how beautiful those flowers are. If we can like get it to focus here. It's having a really hard time. Look at those beautiful little flowers. I love the color. So I have the pink yarrow. The borage actually opened up, and I've never seen a flower like this before. Look at that. So pretty. The dill in the middle is doing pretty good. The calendula is about to have a flower. You can see it's a little bud in there. So yeah, things are still hanging on. This little zucchini here is a dark green zucchini. It got bigger while we were gone. There's still no fruit, but I see lots of buds down there, so I think it's coming. All right, now for the pumpkin and squash. Wow, they've gotten big and there's lots of fruit. I'm not sure, you know, they haven't actually opened yet. The only fruit that's actually opened is this plant here. This is spaghetti squash, and we hand pollinated this one today, but there's a little baby fruit here and a little baby fruit over there. So hopefully we got that pollinated, but these other plants are looking very healthy as well. Wow, those sirens are quite loud. All right, I don't know if you guys can see behind me, but these are grapes. And I was really good at keeping them trimmed back, but then we left and this happened. They are growing over the edge. They're going to be grabbing onto my pumpkins if I don't cut these back. There's blueberry bushes under these, behind them. Oh my goodness. Crazy. Look at them. So crazy. But they are doing their job. And we have grapes. You can see more over there. So that these will be really good because these are the Concord grapes. They'll be very delicious. And I do look forward to them, but it's just really hard to maintain the grapevines. And down at the end of our property we have a huge like trellis with grapes, and it looks just like this. It is crazy. So I went and trimmed a bunch of it because it takes over the hydrangeas, and then there's a pine tree down there. It's like a jungle, but it produces a ton of grapes, a ton. So I guess I can't complain too much. All right, the artichokes, if you can see them, are hiding back there. We have eaten a couple of them. I really need to come out and pick some more because they're starting to get to the point where they're not good anymore. But the ones that we did have were really delicious. And the rhubarb is still hanging in there. I need to pick some tomorrow and freeze it because I don't think I ever did that for the strawberry rhubarb pie that we're going to make later on. So I need to do that. All right, check out the pea wall. It was tall and then it flopped over, and I can't even tell you how many peas I have harvested off of here, but there's so many, more than we can eat. So I froze a bunch of them tonight. We ate them with dinner tonight. We put them into like our little stir fry. The boys just stand out here and eat them like crazy. There was a really big one in here. I hope the boys didn't pick it. Anyways, we're letting the really big ones go to seeds so we can collect the seeds. We'll let them dry on the vine. I'm trying to tell the boys to leave them here, but you know, they have a hard time doing that. They think the bigger, the better. And then down here, the beans, those are just starting to get their runners, so they will start to go up this cattle panel. And look at Cooper's sunflower. It is taller than me now. It's so tall. So tall. We call it an ant hotel because ants always hang out at the top of his sunflower. Yeah. The blueberries have not really ripened yet. I think the birds are kind of getting them. Like you can see, this one kind of has a little puncture. We have eaten a couple of them, but nothing, you know, like a huge harvest. And the one that the boys pulled the other day was too sour because it wasn't ready, but of course they're like, it's blue, we're gonna eat it. But maybe next year I will put bird netting over the blueberries to keep the birds from actually getting them, and that might help some. I don't know, we'll see. All right, what else do I have to show you guys? I'm realizing that this time of night is really noisy because of the trains. It's quiet during the day, but at night I guess the trains are working. Maybe there's less traffic, I don't know. All right, trying to think what else. So I have planted a bunch more flowers. So those are in the greenhouse. I've done more cosmos, zinnias, baby's breath. Okay, there were some people down by the hydrangeas taking pictures, so that's fine. I just didn't want like them to be cutting them and stuff, but they weren't. They were just taking pictures of their kids, which is really cute. Side note, Carter had made me a really nice bouquet of hydrangeas, and I said, Carter, you did such a good job. You should try and sell these. So we posted them on Facebook Marketplace, and he has his first customer tomorrow. She's buying 30 hydrangeas, so he gets all the profits, and I just think it's really cute. Hopefully there'll be more people because we have so many of them. I don't know how else to sell them besides online, because last year the boys had like a produce stand and they sold a ton that way, but obviously we're not doing that because of COVID. I don't want them to be exposed to anything that's, you know, not necessary. Okay, so stuff in the greenhouse. I planted a whole tray of flowers, and today I did this tray. This one here, although I only did 3 rows on this one. We did some more golden squash, more cucumbers, Boston pickling cucumbers, and another type of squash. I don't know how you say it, cocozelli, I don't know. We still have a few kales that are here, but they don't look that great. They were left outside when we were gone, and I think they'll probably come back, but they don't look fantastic. And then down here, let's see, I don't know that I can really turn this, but I planted more cilantro because ours has gone to seed, some basil, another round of lettuce and arugula. These are our tomatoes that are very little. I just transplanted a bunch of these peppers and tomatoes into bigger pots, and so amazingly, oh my goodness, the chickens are making a lot of noise over there. They're trying to go to bed. Jeremy put a new roost in the chicken coop today because they are literally sleeping on top of each other. They have 2 roosts or like perches roosts, but they only use one, and they're on top of each other. So hopefully they can sort this out. Okay, so our tomato plants when we left were literally so small. They were maybe an inch or 2 high, and just like a few little leaves. Well, guess what? My watering system totally worked. I was like, they're gonna be dead when we come back. They're totally gonna be dead. So what I did was I took these cookie sheets, and I didn't want to take them out of the greenhouse because they've been in the greenhouse the whole time. I took these cookie sheets, Jeremy just tapped into the dripper line, and I had one of these red things going into each pan, so it would water from the bottom to, you know, then it would suck it up from the bottom. So this is one little tomato plant. Obviously it's not that big, but it's looking really healthy. This is a green zebra. It's doing well. I mean, it's obviously a ton bigger. Like, this is what they looked like when we left. They had a couple more leaves. Come on. They had a couple more leaves. And obviously, you know, there's 2 here. I'm just trying to determine which one to pull. I don't really think I'm going to get anything off of these, but the watering system worked. And guess what? Here is the biggest one. I put it into a big pot. I'm gonna try and keep the tomatoes in the greenhouse this year and see if they do better, because it's just not hot here and they really like the heat. So this is a black cherry, and what I did was I pulled the bottom leaves off and I buried it much deeper than it was. This might not look deep enough, but that's how deep I did it. So it was even taller than this. Super exciting. So hopefully we might have like a tomato this year. These are cherry tomatoes, so I figured that's great that that is the one that survived, because those are smaller tomatoes. They won't take as long to ripen, and being in here, I think maybe they're just gonna grow a whole lot better. And the basil plants that Jeremy got at Trader Joe's, they were looking so sad, and right before we left, I said, so what are you planning on doing with the basil plants? Are we bringing them with? And he was like, no, just throw them somewhere outside, which they've never been outside. So I thought, well, let's just put them in the greenhouse. So I put them in the greenhouse with this whole cookie sheet tray watering thing, and it's right next to like the little meshy window. But oh my goodness, they're doing so good now. This is like the best basil has ever done here. These are just the ones from Trader Joe's. So we've harvested a ton off of those. So that's really exciting. And oh my goodness, now my hand smells amazing. I love basil. What else is new? So this isn't garden related, but I am going to share it here, and I'm going to make another video about it because it's super exciting. But our chickens hit 18 weeks. Today's Thursday, so on Wednesday, yesterday, the youngest chicks hit officially 18 weeks on Wednesday. And guess what? When we were gone, we got back and there were 2 eggs in the coop. 2. Obviously, I don't know how long they were there. They were probably fine. They did have like some poop on them, so we didn't eat them. But we know which chicken it is. It's our olive egger, and she lays like a greenish tinted egg. They're beautiful. They're little right now, but we actually saw her today lay her egg. She wasn't laying them in the nesting box. So yesterday, Cooper, is his chicken, he picked her up, put her in the nesting box, and she was like, oh, I kind of like this. She was laying under the nesting box. Before that, she was laying in a corner and right by their run door, like just random places. But today she was in the nesting box, and she was sitting there, and we were all standing out there very quietly, and we heard the egg plop down into the nesting box. So super exciting. The rest of the chicks should start laying eggs, most of them between 18 and 20 weeks. So we're right there, and there's mosquitoes out here now. It's just really exciting. I'm very excited. So I'll make another video about the chickens. I need to do an update. I haven't talked about them at all, but they're doing great, and the boys are loving them. Like, it's just, they love the chickens. They love the chickens. We all love the chickens. Anyways, okay, that is the garden update. Hopefully I got everything. I didn't mention this in the beginning, but we are in Washington State, Zone 8B. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you are having a fantastic summer,